From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome into The Horse's Mouth here. Tommy Max, of course, at my bar where friends and new friends and old friends all hang out, have a little drink, and tell their story. Always brought to our good friends right here at Dasher and Hot Spring Spas of Jacksonville. Major Harding is back from Client Focus Media. Tom Reber from Cross Country Mortgage and Client Focus Media is back. And we're going to talk a little civil litigation right here at the bar. Let's welcome in the panel. Major Harding, how are you, my friend?
Tom. Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm great.
You got a connection to our guest. Would you like to introduce Chambers Waller from White Arnold and Dowd?
He's a partner in the firm. He runs the Florida office. They're a Birmingham, Alabama-based firm.
Beautiful.
And his wife, they met at Sanford University School of Law.
Wow.
Nice.
And she's a practicing attorney that does practices on child raising.
Good.
And so my son-in-law is a partner in the firm too.
Awesome.
And lives in Birmingham. So that was a connection. I met him last year at the Players Championship.
Okay.
And he'd done some work for me just to review some advice I was given.
Okay.
And he kind of put his eyes on it and kind of steered me in the right direction.
All right, Chambers Waller, you were destined to be an attorney from the beginning.
I
think so.
Any attorneys in the family growing up? Like parents or uncles or anybody like that?
So my grandfather on my mom's side
Okay.
was an attorney. My aunt actually became an attorney a little bit later in life, but on my dad's side, it was, my grandfather was a urologist.
Okay.
My dad was a urologist.
Oh, wow.
And I did not want to be a urologist. So I went on mom's side and went with law.
Yeah, that smell of burnt skin is not pleasant at all. No doubt
not for
about
me.
it. All right, tell us about White Arnold and Dowd. What do you guys, civil litigation, but you do other things as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, like Major was saying, the firm is based primarily in Birmingham.
Okay.
I started working there in 2014 and worked in the Birmingham office until 2018, when the amazing woman that I met, who grew up on Amelia Island, had a ton of family here. We started having kids and moved back down here to raise our family.
Good.
And at that point, I told the firm, I said, hey, we've got this timeline. My wife was pregnant at the time, and we're going to be moving down there. Why don't I kind of work remotely for a few months to kind of phase things out? And they came back and said, well, why don't we just open up an office in Florida that you can work out of? And
beautiful.
So that was, 2 thumbs up for me.
There you go.
But ever since then, we've had offices in Birmingham and offices here in Florida, in Northeast Florida, and we do civil litigation mostly, representing people and businesses and lawsuits against each other.
Okay.
But we also do some criminal defense. We do white collar work. We really do a whole lot of things, and particularly. I've got an office up in Fernandina, and what I tell people around there is, if you have a situation where you think you need a lawyer, you probably do.
Yeah. Right.
So call me, and if I can't help you, I can find somebody who can.
Now you're
Beautiful.
talking.
Beautiful. Great to have you on the show. Tom Reber's back. How are you,
What's
Tom?
happening, T?
You ever need an attorney?
Yeah.
Off
Every
the
once in a
record?
while. I mean, off the record. Having legal advice at your fingertips is extremely important.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of people, process, technology in that order. Okay, you got to have the right people, and I think having the right legal advice is probably the best start, and that runs a whole myriad from family to legal to your job.
Yeah.
And then today they just had the lawsuit where the non-competes are being taken away, which is a big deal.
Yes.
Because in my world, I have a non-compete. Makes you want to fight somebody.
Yeah.
That in 120 days, I guess, is supposedly changing.
Correct.
So there's a lot of big game-changing laws. What do you think about that?
Well, the way that I believe this is right, but for kind of higher level executives, the non-competes are going to stay in place at least through their current lifespan. But they can't be modified or changed. But for pretty much everybody else, they're done. And when you think about it from not quite a C-suite level,
Right.
non-competes really can have a major impact on employees, and just you think about how expensive it is to move right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you're either stuck in a job that may not be working out, or you're faced with a situation where you really don't have the finances to move or the resources to do it, and you're really stuck in a hard place. So,
At the executive level, those things definitely have a lot of merit, right?
Right.
But everyone throws those things out.
I mean,
hey, sign this, this and not compete, and you can figure something out, right? You can get around that depending on what industry you're in.
Yeah, I don't know about get around it, but you can certainly find ways to make it work. And a lot of times people and businesses can be reasonable about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You've got all kinds of boilerplate language in contracts, including non-compete clauses where they say, we understand, you're on good terms, that kind of thing works out. But the thing about contract provisions like that is they really only come into play when things go sour.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why they're there.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not something that folks have to deal with.
How about NDAs? They seem to be thrown out there quite a bit. Non-disclosure agreements.
They do. They do. And it's. I would put that kind of in the same category in terms of how often they really need to be enforced.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I see them most often just in settlement agreements, not being able to disclose the terms of settlements and amounts of settlements and things like that.
Okay.
And thankfully, breaches of that don't come up too often.
Yeah.
And if and when they do, most people realize kind of when they've done something they're not supposed to.
Okay. All right, final question. It's a real hard-hitting one. Have you become a Jags fan yet, Chambers?
Okay, so every year, and when we moved down here, the Jags were not good.
Yeah.
Right.
The Jags were not good.
Yeah.
And every year I tell myself, this is the year, and I never do. And now that they're good, I feel like it would be just jumping on the bandwagon, which I don't want to do that. But I do.
You need a team.
I do need a team.
Birmingham doesn't have a team, so you need to be a Jaguar fan.
That's right.
That's right.
They certainly don't have an NFL team, so
Yeah.
it's If I do have an NFL team, it's the Jags.
Good.
It's the Jags.
That's the best answer you can give.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, best of luck to you, man. Thanks
sir.
for being here. Really appreciate it. Tom,
Yes.
Major, always a good time. All right, make sure you check out Chambers' profile. Of course, the two gentlemen next to him. This conversation and many, many others. Just go to the dailynewsnetwork.com website. Until next time, stay safe out there and be cool. And we'll see you right here on The Horse's Mouth.
Cheers.
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 The coach should be going to bed at night thinking about the athlete and how they're going to help that athlete improve. They shouldn't be worrying about how am I going to quantify their improvement, or am I going to have to keep up with all this information? Those things that are kind of background to the coach focusing there on the athlete. And so what Dasher does is it takes all those side things away, allowing the coach to focus then on the athlete.